Well, we made it to the end of 2025. Definitely a lot that happened, a lot to unpack, just a lot to talk about and go over. Of course, though, it would not be very interesting to hear me ramble on about a lot of topics beforehand, but I've decided why not do something a bit more interesting. As you know, Assetto Corsa is one of my favorite sim racing titles, and it's of course famous for its modding community. A lot of mods for cars, tracks, you name it. And I decided to combine two very good looking and just awesome mods. This here is the Delash 15 S8, one of the more famous post World War One Grand Prix cars. This is long before Formula One was a thing. And this car was famous for winning a ton of races back in the post World War One era of Grand Prix racing. Also driven by the famous Robert Benoist. Not only did he win the 1925 French Grand Prix, which I think was the first win for this car, but he also won all five Grand Prix that counted towards that season's European Drivers' Championship, and helped Delage win the Constructors' Championship. All of this happening in 1927. So definitely one of the more famous Grand Prix cars of its era. And I've combined it with the Mountain Route track mod, which I was able to find on AssettoCorsa.club. Just a very interesting track, to say the least. It is a completely fancy track, and it combines all sorts of roads and mountain routes into this super long rally course. And why not have some fun, cruise around in the famous Delash 15 S8, and just talk about everything that happened in 2025. Might take a while, who the heck knows, but let's hit the road. So heading off in a rather historic machine, and of course I am recording this in kind of a weird way. I tried doing live commentary, but then I realized there were some issues going on, and then trying to record the replay and then do commentary over it. There were again just issues with audio recordings and all of this. Once again, just a whole bunch of technical difficulties that I've been having in the past. But it seems like this way should work. Just replay going on in the background. You can still hear the engine. You can still hear me. But first thing I do want to talk about is championship battles. What a freaking way to end this year for Formula One. After a very controversial season in 2021, which was led up to by a whole bunch of dominance by Lewis Hamilton, and then we had Max Verstappen dominance for 3 straight years from 2022 to 2024. We finally have a legitimate championship decider go all the way to the end, and Lando Norris somehow defying the odds, making a comeback on Oscar Piastri, and holding off Max Verstappen's comeback towards the second half of the season, and winning the title just barely. So now Lando Norris is officially a Formula One world champion. And this just proves my point of how no matter what series it is, no matter how much dominance might end up resulting in an early championship decider, this is why we should always let points formats be the way they are. Just regular points. No playoffs, no chase formats, no gimmicky BS like that. Because when you actually let the championship go the way it's supposed to go, you will have an entertaining finale like the one we just had. And honestly, it kind of proves every point that playoff supporters have wrong. They always mean that if it's too easy, then it's not meaningful in any way, blah, blah, blah. Well, look at how NASCAR is going. Championship finale once again craters in viewership, and no one's watching the chase races anymore. Basically meaning that the championship is now worthless in that series, even though there are playoffs. But look at how many people are enjoying this year of Formula One. From Oscar Piastri doing his thing at the beginning of the season, to Lando Norris coming back to take advantage of Oscar's screw-ups, and Max Verstappen's car finally performing the way it's supposed to be. So, once again, playoff loyalists, you guys are a bunch of ingrates, and again, this proves why your playoff formats are completely meaningless and they don't have a place in our sport. And if you still support them, then you obviously don't have a place in our sport either. Oh, now that I've talked about NASCAR, though, let's actually talk about NASCAR for a bit. So, as you may know, the lawsuit between Michael Jordan, Front Row Motorsports, and NASCAR have been settled. And luckily, we have a good ending. NASCAR pretty much gets to maintain control of their tracks, but we now have evergreen charters, meaning that the teams will get to keep their charters basically no matter what. And as long as the TV revenue brings in more money, they should be bringing in more money as well, the way it's now rewritten. The 3-point rule or 3-strike rule, something like that, is now back in NASCAR, except it's a 5-point /strike rule. As you may know, with the new charter agreement, the 3-point rule was basically taken away because NASCAR claimed the teams were being too stingy, refusing anything thrown their way. But the main purpose of it is to bring in new races and rules, as long as it has team's approval. So basically, if NASCAR brought something up to the teams and they didn't like it at first, maybe they can add some tweaks and compromises to the teams, and maybe on the second or third attempt, the teams will accept it. But now that's extended to 5. So hopefully things keep going smooth between NASCAR and the teams. And one very interesting bit I found in the lawsuit is Bass Pro Shop, the sponsor for Richard Childress Racing, or should I say one of their sponsors, actually made a statement at NASCAR in regards to the insulting statements that Steve Phelps and Steve O'Donnell made about Richard Childress, basically calling out NASCAR for basically not caring about the teams, demanding that they settle the lawsuit, and even apologize to Richard Childress, and in fact, maybe the Steves should also resign, or else. Wonder if that had something with NASCAR settling the lawsuit? And another point I made about Richard Childress, or sorry, someone else made about Richard Childress, is that during the lawsuit, there was a thing going up about Richard Childress selling at least part of his team. But the agreement or discussions about it are supposed to be confidential, apparently, because Richard Childress suddenly said, "How do you know this stuff? This is confidential." And protected by NDAs, might I add. So NASCAR and the courts were now in this mess again, and the court judges said that NASCAR better explain why they know this, or else. Again, maybe something that caused a settlement to happen. But until we get any official word on that, who knows? So, up next, I wanted to talk about sim racing, because of course, that is a big part of my channel. I've made a lot of iRacing content. I've enjoyed Assetto Corsa, which I'm playing right now. One of my favorite sims for its modding community and being as close as it can be to a sandbox. And Automobilista 2, that's been a lot of fun. New NASCAR update as well. As for my thoughts on the NASCAR update, I haven't really gotten used to many of the cars and racing yet. I still want to do more before I make an official opinion about it, to be honest. But, as you know, iRacing is a big part of my channel. I've done 55 episodes as of this day of iRacing Rush. And I've had a lot of fun doing it. Had a lot of wins, memories, and just chaotic moments that I really enjoyed. And of course, some might be wondering, there's a lot going on in iRacing, like in regards to like just egotistical users just causing nothing but drama in the sim racing sphere. They're always wanting to drive a certain way, or if you do the slightest thing wrong, they'll just take you out for no reason. And no matter what, there seems to be more and more of these users popping up in like every race. It's always a freaking problem, I feel like. And I think just the main answer is, welcome to online gaming. I think it's bound to happen either way. And probably the only way that's going to prevent it is if iRacing actually does harsher punishments. Like maybe month-long or probably 3 or 6 month bans from iRacing. And if you do too many strikes, it's account deletion. Only thing is, of course, probably those egotistical users are going to say, hey, you're just going to drive users away. What about the problems we're facing? Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just like, it's probably never going to be fixed. I think iRacing can probably do more to fix it. Like maybe if someone submits a protest against a user for taking them out for no reason, maybe the incident points should be revoked in their case so that their safety rating can be refunded. Maybe that's a good way to encourage good driving instead of resorting to even more intentional wrecking and just chaos in voice chats, turning it into a freaking Modern Warfare 2 lobby. If you know, you know. And as of late, there's been another incident. I forgot the name of the user, but he was racing against someone who is sponsored by a setup shop for iRacing, and that setup shop driver didn't like how he was passed, even though it was a completely clean pass, and he just rear-ended him and put him in the wall. Again, it's these users that iRacing, I think, needs to go down harsher on to try at least to sort things out. And if there's like more than one strike, then definitely do that month-long or multiple months-long bans. But other than that, it's a very complicated topic because there's not really a clear solution. And I just hope iRacing can continue to listen to more protests and encourage people to file more protests against egotistical users who cause trouble. And at least for the racing realm itself, as I've said before, it's just not a good decade. We've had the passings of many race car drivers, such as Michael Annett and Greg Biffle, as I've said, as of late. It's already bad enough when we've also had some other passings within the, the Formula Junior series, such as Formula 3 or 4, because I forgot the name of a driver, but there was actually an incident at the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps where someone was killed in a collision at the top of Radion in an eerily similar fashion as Antoine Hubert in 2019. Just terrible incident, and unfortunately, it's like we cannot escape tragedy as of late. Horse racing is unfortunately the same problem we've had the depths of Hall of Fame trainer D. Wayne Lucas and Ron Turcotte, who is famous for being the jockey of the Secretariat, who won the 1973 Kentucky Derby and Triple Crown, and of course had that famous run in the 1973 Belmont Stakes. And no matter what form of racing, I consider it to be my world. I've been around racing, both auto and horse, for so long that whenever I hear things about this, it's honestly crushing. But if there's any good that did come out of sports this year, Lionel Messi has finally won an MLS championship with Inter Miami. Last year, we were able to win the title with LA Galaxy. My MLS team finally won the championship after not even a drought. It's just it's kind of been a while since we last won a championship, but finally we were able to get that done in 2024. But then Lionel Messi this year wins the MLS championship for Inter Miami. And he even had his former FC Barcelona teammate Jordi Alba alongside him to help him. He basically followed Lionel Messi to Inter Miami, and they've been great as of late. But other than that, for MLS itself, if you don't know, there's now the new scheduling format they're going to use. They do have the 2027 schedule set to be from the summer to spring rather than winter to fall. So they're going to try to align more closely with European leagues. For example, the Big Five, Premier League, La Liga, all those guys. But yeah, just a lot of changes going on within American soccer as of late. I'm just not a big fan at all, honestly, of the direction of MLS, because one point of contention I have with them is the playoffs. I don't like how it feels like every year they're changing things with the rounds and how they're played. Like, certain rounds, they have to do a match at home and away. Other rounds, it's just one match and freaking overtime and substitution rules. Like, they cannot settle on anything, and they're constantly changing it, and it's honestly pissing me off because I'm always confused every year as a result of all these changes. And of course, allowing more than half of a league to even reach the playoffs in the first place. Like, having playoffs have round of 16 is a freaking joke. And that goes for the NBA as well. I think at the least, you should only have quarterfinals. That means only the top 8 teams make the playoffs, which would be the top 4 in each conference. Because if you keep allowing more and more teams in, you're just going to lower the bar more and more. And just turn the playoffs into more of a chore rather than a spectacle. You know certain teams are going to get eliminated early, and at this point it's just not watchable. So I hope Major League Soccer listens at some point and finally fixes the playoffs. But as I was actually getting set to record this, there was also the unfortunate news regarding Denny Hamlin's family. This year has already been a tough year for Denny Hamlin, having to deal with the lawsuit, 2311 in front row against NASCAR, and losing the championship the way that he did at Phoenix. Taking 4 tires instead of 2 really cost him. And then you have just now his parents' house caught on fire, and his dad, who Denny was trying to win a championship for due to his deteriorating health state. Denny's dad has unfortunately passed away from his injuries in the house fire. And I just hate it for Denny's family, because that's never easy to lose someone in such a tragic way, such a terrible way. And I hope his family is able to somehow recover from all of this. Luckily, Denny's mom is in the hospital recovering. But again, this decade, no matter what sport you win, tragedy seems to follow, and I wish we never had to deal with this, but here we are. So, that pretty much wraps things up for the 2025 year in review. Starting this channel in the middle of 2024, now amassing it to 39 subscribers at the end of 2025. That is honestly a miracle I'm able to do that. Like, of course, that's not big to anyone else, but considering I am just a Mr. Irrelevant here on this platform, it's a miracle. And for those who have subscribed and are sticking around, I hope you continue to enjoy the channel, and I will keep trying. Hopefully next year, any technical bugs I'm currently facing, they get patched out, and I can do better for all of you. Last thing I'm going to say before ending this video, I'm not going to say let's hope 2026 is better, because we know how the 2020s have been. Like, every year we want a better year, but it seems like it just gets more and more chaotic. COVID happens, and then everything just goes downhill from there. Hopefully it's not like that for 2026, but I wouldn't jinx it. Or basically try to... y'all know what I'm saying. So, thank you all for sticking around. Hope you like taking this quick little drive through Assetto Corsa with me, talking about the year 2025. If you wanted to see more Assetto Corsa videos like this and more racing content in general, please like and subscribe. It'll mean a lot to the channel. I'll see you all in 2026.